evening and welcome to the 567th episode of Travelers Radio. I'm Dan Schlossberg, along with my friend and co-host Roger Noriega, and we're in the 13th season of Travelers Radio, the show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair.
And ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, we ask you to bear with us. We are having technical difficulties, so we are working through it. But putting that aside, every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, railroads, car rental companies, and others in the world of travel and hospitality, from authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists. If it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travel Itch Radio.
And our guest today is Laura McMurchie of Experience Scottsdale. Welcome, Laura, to Travelers Radio.
Hey, Dan, good to see you again.
Good to see you, too. And Laura, you are lucky to live in a place with such a benign climate, especially in fall and winter. Please tell our listeners where Scottsdale is located and what they can see over the next few months.
Yes, and Scottsdale is in the Sonoran Desert. We are the neighboring city to Phoenix, so we are part of the greater area, and we're right in the heart of the Sonoran Desert.
Okay, summer is peak travel season for many resort destinations, but not Scottsdale. So do you consider peak season to be the rest of the year, especially fall and winter, when much of the country starts to get colder? And are resort rates lower in the fall than in peak season because kids are back in school?
Exactly. Fall is a perfect time of year to be here because it's not quite peak season, so the resort rates are a little bit lower, but the weather is perfect. We like to call it our secret season. November and December are particularly good times of year for our events and holiday festivities and great time for outdoor adventure.
And speaking of seasons, you know how much I love baseball. Should viewers plan now if they want to see exhibition games in Scottsdale next March? And what teams train in the vicinity? Aren't all 15 Cactus League teams situated very close proximity?
Of course, you are correct. You know your baseball. There are 15 teams that train in the Scottsdale Greater Phoenix area, all part of the Cactus League. We have two stadiums right in our backyard: Scottsdale Stadium, which is home to the San Francisco Giants, and the Salt River Field at Talking Stick, which is home to the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies. March is our busiest time of year. The weather is perfect, and because it's spring training, it is quite busy. So we do recommend people get on those travel plans as soon as possible.
And Scottsdale has substantial ties with the Old West. So please tell our viewers, what can they find in Old Scottsdale?
Old Town Scottsdale is really special. It's very walkable, so you can explore on foot different neighborhoods. One of the neighborhoods in the, overall Old Town area is the historic Old Town neighborhood, where many of the buildings date back to the early 1900s. So, like Rusty's First Saloon, which was an old bank building, Scottsdale Historical Museum, which was the first schoolhouse in Scottsdale, Porter's Western Saloon, which is the first U.S. post office in Scottsdale.
I loved Frank Lloyd Wright's Taliesin West. Would you explain what that is?
Okay, Taliesin West was the former winter home and studio of Frank Lloyd Wright, who's a renowned American architect. He lived there from 1937 to 1959 when he died at age 91. And now it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and people can tour it with guided tours every day.
And isn't Scottsdale also home to the Museum of the Musical Instrument? I love that museum too.
Actually, right next door, technically, it is in the city of Phoenix, right on the border, and I agree, it's fantastic. They have a collection of more than 7,500 instruments from around the world, 200 different countries and territories, and they really tried to show how music really affects societies around the world, and that music is the language of the soul.
We're talking with Laura McMurchie of Experience Scottsdale.
Folks, I do apologize for the technical difficulties. Dan, just a reminder, if you can keep the phone closer to your mic so it can pick it up. It is coming in and out, but I do apologize. So, hi, Laura. How close is Scottsdale to Phoenix, where the airport is? Do visitors need cars to get around, or can they manage with the light rail system in this case?
So we are neighboring cities. So Scottsdale is right next door to Phoenix. And Scottsdale is a long, skinny, rectangular city, about 32 miles long, approximately 8 miles across. So it kind of depends on where you're going in Scottsdale. So from Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport to Old Town Scottsdale, it's only about 15 minutes. But if you were to go from Phoenix Sky Harbor all the way up to North Scottsdale, maybe to hike in McDowell's Arm Preserve, that'd be more like 30 to 45 minutes. Fun fact though, Scottsdale does have its own airport, Scottsdale Airport, and it's one of the country's busiest single runway airports. And JSX, which is a premier public charter, does offer service out of cities like Dallas and Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Denver, Salt Lake. So continue to grow there. And unfortunately, we are not part of the light rail system. So I do recommend renting a car, or you can easily get around with rideshare. And another little fun fact, Waymos, the autonomous self-driving cars, are really prevalent here. So you can check that one off your bucket list while you're here too.
That is cool. I would look forward to that. Now, I understand that Scottsdale has a desert climate with lots of sunshine, but isn't there a huge canal in the middle of the main shopping and dining district?
Absolutely. It's the Arizona Canal that you're thinking of, and it's actually just one of the canals that runs through this area. It's about 50 miles, and it cuts right through the heart of Old Town Scottsdale. The city of Scottsdale had a waterfront project, beautification project, where you'll find a lot of public art along this stretch as well. Another little fun fact, but Scottsdale and the greater Phoenix area have more waterways than Venice, Paris, and Amsterdam combined.
Wow. I wouldn't expect that from the desert. That is cool. Would you please talk about some of the resorts? I know the Phoenician well, as I've stayed there many times, but what are some of the others and what makes them unique?
So this is a fun one. I'm not sure how long the show is, because I could go on about this one for a while. But we're really lucky that our hotels and resorts have such unique character and stories. So if you look at Camelback Mountain, that's kind of our iconic landmark right in the middle of this city, in between Scottsdale and Phoenix. And the Phoenician, as you mentioned, is situated there on the south side and really is one of our crown jewel properties. Then in the heart of Old Town Scottsdale, we have Hotel Valley Hill, which is a mid-century modern gem dating back to 1957. Formosa Inn is a boutique property at just 43 rooms, but it really serves up that Old West cowboy charm. It was once the home of a cowboy artist named Lon McMurchie. And to this day, if you purchase a Stetson hat, there is a reproduction of one of his paintings inside called The Last Drop, and it shows the cowboy turning his hat upside down and the horse drinking out of it. Then on the north side of the mountain, you've got Sanctuary on Camelback Mountain, which is where Jay-Z and Beyonce had their honeymoon. So I say, if it's good for Jay and Bay, it's good for me. And then Camelback Inn is quintessential Southwestern, and it's still Marriott's favorite in the Marriott collection. And I can go on and on.
That is cool. At your leisure, of course. I understand Scottsdale is a superb spot for sports of all kinds, both participation and spectator. Just how big are, well, this is Dan's favorite, golf and tennis, for example. And I understand there's been a Super Bowl or two there.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, Super Bowl. Yeah, absolutely. Really nothing compares to the WM Open, used to be called the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And that is the most watched, most highly attended golf tournament on the PGA circuit. So attendance for the 40 event is over 700,000 people. They call it the greatest party on grass. A lot of people know it for the 16th hole. 20,000 people alone congregate at that 16th hole and cheer on the golfers in a way that you don't see in most golf tournaments. And then tennis will never go out of style, but pickleball has really taken off here. I mean, I know it has across the country, but Scottsdale is opening a new facility called Pure Pickleball, and it's expected to be the largest pickleball facility in Arizona and one of the world's largest when it opens late this year, early next year. And it'll be like the headquarters for USA Pickleball.
Excellent. That's good to know. Now, there are so many ways to enjoy the red rocks and desert flowers: hiking, biking, ballooning, jeep tours, off road adventures, and even stagecoach rides. Did I get lucky on that one?
Yeah. Yeah, and this is my favorite part of Scottsdale. So, I mean, I would say this is why I love living here because I can be in Old Town Scottsdale, go to a James Beard Award-winning restaurant, but then within 15 minutes, like I be on the trail and kind of leave the urban center behind. The Sonoran Desert is really unique and it's considered to be one of the most biodiverse in the world. So it's the perfect playground for all the activities you mentioned. There's more than 200 miles of multi-purpose trails in McDowell Preserve, so it's perfect for hiking, mountain biking, horseback riding. And the Sonoran Desert is great for hot air ballooning because we've got such clear skies, dry climate. We have perfect conditions for that, and sunrise tours are just picking up again now that the summer temperatures are starting to subside.
Okay, I want to tell our viewers you're watching us on Travel Itch Radio now in our 13th season with Dan Schlossberg and Roger Noriega. Check us out on iTunes, LinkedIn, Instagram, or the Travel Itch Radio Facebook page, among other places. And we're talking with Laura McMurchie of Experience Scottsdale. Roger?
Obvious question. How close are the Grand Canyon and some other national parks? Can Scottsdale visitors see them by signing up for a sightseeing tour by land or air?
Yeah, Grand Canyon is only about a 3.5 hour drive from Old Town Scottsdale, and there are 22 national parks in the state, so there really is a lot to see. So it's a great adventure for a self-drive adventure if you've rented a car, but you can also leave the driving to someone else. There are great companies like Speed Tours, Across Arizona Tours, or you can do, and those are ground operators, or you can fly up to the Grand Canyon with Westwind Aviation. And there really are so many different options. So you could just do a scenic flight over the Grand Canyon, or you can add in things like a jeep tour or a hike. Or one of my favorite ways to do it is actually drive up to Williams, which is on Route 66, just outside of Flagstaff, Arizona, and then catch the Grand Canyon Railway. So you get to see some terrain that you wouldn't see with the car. Again, it's beautiful railway system that goes up to the Grand Canyon. It drops you off at the historic El Tovar. So really is a perfect way to see it.
Well, Laura, I'm sorry. Did you say out of Flagstaff, the train?
The train is out of Williams, which is just maybe 30 minutes from Flagstaff.
Close enough. All right. Because I've been to Flagstaff and I missed that. But of course, it's in Williams. I'm sorry. So thank you for that. Some famous Hollywood names have Scottsdale connections. I'm thinking about the Rat Pack and the Hotel Valley Ho and Elizabeth Taylor and John Wayne at Mountain Shadows. Would you please share?
Yeah, so Hotel Valley Ho is the mid-century modern property that I mentioned, right in the heart of Old Town, dates back to 1957, and many Hollywood stars stay at the hotel. People like Bing Crosby, Humphrey Bogart, Marilyn Monroe, Zsa Gabor, Natalie Wood and Robert Wagner had their wedding reception there. So yeah, all kinds of history with celebrities at that property. J.W. Marriott, which I mentioned as being sort of one of the Southwestern jewels, hosted guests like the Eisenhowers, Clark Gable, Jimmy Stewart, Betty Davis. You mentioned Elizabeth Taylor and John Wayne, who were at Mountain Shadows, not together, but that's another great mid-century modern property right on kind of the north side of Camelback Mountain. And then Royal Palms has some great history as well. That one dates back to 1929, and people like Frank Sinatra, Groucho Marx, Tony Martin all stayed there.
Wow, thank you. If you're inclined, would you talk about restaurants and nightlife? And are there certain must-see places that feature local foods and recipes? Because boy, do I love to eat, and I think I've missed out.
Yeah, I think that, if there's one don't miss restaurant, it's F&B, and that stands for food and beverage, but they are James Beard Best Chef in the Southwest winner for 2019, and the chef there really focuses on everything local. So I would say it is a taste of Arizona. The co-owner of the restaurant actually is an Arizona winemaker as well. but it's not a vegetarian restaurant. It's just they like to focus on what's fresh and what's in season. And then, of course, when you're in Scottsdale, you want some of that quintessential Mexican or Southwestern food. The Mission is one of my favorites. They have two outposts, one in Old Town, one a little bit further in North Scottsdale. And they are kind of a fusion, a Latin fusion. So it's not sort of just straight traditional Mexican, but you get some great Mexican street tacos, elote. They have fantastic margaritas. And I mentioned Arizona wine, which surprises a lot of people, but we have 8 Arizona wine tasting rooms in Old Town Scottsdale, so you can walk the Scottsdale Wine Trail.
Wow, that is absolutely awesome. I understand that Scottsdale is known for its gold palette artworks. Is that ongoing, or did it complete its 2024 season?
So Scottsdale Art Walks happen every Thursday year-round in Old Town Scottsdale. So no matter what the season, you can catch an art walk. Gold palette art walks are a special sort of edition of those where it's a little bit extra. So actually we're heading into our season right now for some of those amped up gold palette art walks now that, again, temperatures are dropping a little bit and we're heading into fall.
Wow. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Laura McMurchie of Experience Scottsdale.
And Laura, with the arrival of autumn, temperatures are lower and interest in outdoor activities is higher. So please tell our viewers about the Dreamy Draw Music Festival, the Arizona Indigenous Food Symposium and Indigenous Culinary Experience, and something called Canal Convergence.
Dan, that should have been 4 questions, Dan.
We talked a little bit about the Arizona Canal, and it happens along that Arizona Canal. So that waterway really is associated with public art, oversized public art, really focuses on water and light in the desert. And it's a free event that lasts for 10 days. And gosh, I think we're in our 11th or 12th year. So that one has really become a staple for our event season. Dreamy Draw Music Festival is only in their 2nd year, but they launched last year, did extremely well out on Scottsdale Civic Center Park, which was newly renovated, really kind of spruced up for hosting different events. So all kinds of indie bands happen over 2 days at that festival. Again, it's right in the heart of Old Town, as is the Arizona Indigenous Food Symposium and Indigenous Culinary Experience, which happens at Western Spirit, which is Scottsdale's Museum of the West. So that one really leans into Native American chefs, focusing on, again, what grows here locally and sort of the ancient heritage grains and history of the area.
I signed books and enjoyed the hanging baseball memorabilia at Don and Charlie's, a steak place frequented by celebrities. It is unfortunately closed now, along with the Pink Pony, another famous baseball hangout, wasn't it?
It was. Those were really sad to see go.
Okay, and before we wrap, let's talk about unexpected Scottsdale. Viewers know they'll find fantastic resorts and spas, golf, tennis, but what do you think will surprise them? How about kayaking on the Salt River or wine tasting? You mentioned wine tasting before.
Yeah, so the Salt River is really special. You can go tubing, kayaking, paddleboarding on the Salt River. And I think for a lot of people, it surprises them that we have this access to water in the middle of the desert. So it's a fantastic place in Tonto National Forest. That you could just go hiking, or especially when the temperatures are hot, you want to get on the river. I think one of the things that really surprises people are the wild horses. So almost every time I've been on that river, you see wild horses, which just never cease to give me goosebumps as they come down to the water, to get their little drink of water or eat their different river grasses. And then, of course, the Arizona wine tasting that I mentioned, people, again, are always surprised, like, how do you grow grapes in the desert? And technically, we don't. So the Scottsdale area is in the Sonoran Desert, but what the grape growing regions have in common is they're all higher elevation than Scottsdale. Scottsdale is usually around about 1,200 feet elevation, and the wine regions, there's 3 of them in Arizona, are anywhere from about 3,500 to 5,000 feet.
Wow.
If potential visitors want to plan a Christmas week trip to any Scottsdale resort, should they book now?
They should definitely start looking now. The holiday programming is not actually out for a lot of the resorts yet, but it will be soon. So I would start thinking about, where you want to go. Properties like Fairmont, Scottsdale, Princess go all out at Christmas. It is just, hundreds of thousands of lights and a train that takes you through the whole property and a real ice skating rink. And every year it gets bigger and better. And they do draw repeat customers every single year.
Laura, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think that, there's just so much to offer. And like I said, you can tell I'm really excited that we're finally getting into fall. We're getting out of summer. I know everyone else is sad to see summer go, but we are gearing up for our busy event season and for all these great holiday festivities. So you can always find more at experiencescottsdale.com.
Okay, I was just going to ask you, how can travel radio viewers learn more, but you just said it, experiencescottsdale.com. Our guest today has been Laura McMurchie of Experience Scottsdale. Thank you so much, Laura, for being our guest. Great to see you. Okay, and viewers, this is the 50th anniversary of the home run that broke Babe Ruth's record for Hank Aaron. This is also the chance to share that excitement with my new biography, Home Run King, The Remarkable Record of Hank Aaron, featuring a foreword by Dusty Baker. This 265-page hardcover explores Aaron's contributions, not only as a home run hitter on and off the field, but as an athlete and an advocate for civil rights. That's Home Run King, The Remarkable Record of Hank Aaron. Get it today on Amazon.com. And thank you, Roger, for holding it up so everybody can see it. And that's it for this edition of Travel with Radio. Roger and I apologize for the technical difficulties at the outset, but we may do. It all worked out well. And well, until now anyway, but I'm going to turn that off. Next week, same time, same writer, same place. With Halloween approaching, we'll talk about the haunted places of Baltimore, live at 5 o'clock Eastern. Now, this is Dan Schlossberg, along with Roger Noriega, saying thank you for your time this time. Until next time,